Today, we're targeting a critical topic for the FAA Part 107 exam: accident reporting, specifically the rule found in 14 CFR Section 107.9. This is a frequent subject of exam questions, and the FAA loves to test the specific details to trip you up. The core rule is that a remote pilot in command must report an accident to the FAA no later than 10 calendar days after it happens, but only if it meets one of two specific thresholds. Let's break those down from an exam perspective. The first trigger is serious injury to any person or any loss of consciousness. The exam will almost certainly focus on the any loss of consciousness part. If a person is struck by your drone and is knocked out, even for a second, it's a reportable accident, period. While the rule also mentions a serious injury, defined as a level 3 on the abbreviated injury scale, you don't need to be a paramedic for the test. Just know that a level 3 injury is significant, like a broken bone or a cut requiring stitches, and often involves hospitalization. However, the loss of consciousness clause is the most common exam scenario because it's so definitive. The second trigger is damage to any property other than the small unmanned aircraft itself, where the cost to repair or the fair market value exceeds $500. This is where the test questions get tricky. The most common trap is including the value of your drone in the calculation. The FAA does not care about the damage to your drone for this report. An exam question might state that your $2,000 drone was destroyed while causing $400 of damage to a client's roof. This is not a reportable accident because the damage to the other property is below the $500 threshold. Another trap is the exact dollar amount. The damage must exceed $500. If the repair cost is exactly $500, no report is required under the property damage clause. The rule also specifies that the reportable amount is the lower of two figures: the cost of repair, including labor and materials, or the fair market value of the property if it's a total loss. So here's a classic exam-style scenario. You're flying and your drone malfunctions, striking a car and causing a dent. The repair quote is $600. However, the car is old and its fair market value is only $450. In this case, you would not need to file a report because the fair market value, being the lower figure, is less than the $500 threshold. All reports must be filed within 10 calendar days, not business days, and are submitted online through the FAA DroneZone portal. It's also important not to confuse this FAA report with NTSB notifications. The NTSB requires immediate notification for more severe incidents, like accidents involving death or substantial damage to larger aircraft, which is a separate requirement from the Part 107 rule we're focused on for this exam. A simple way to remember the core of this rule for your exam is this mnemonic: 10 days for $500 or a serious bump. This phrase connects the 10-day reporting window with the key triggers: over $500 in property damage or a serious injury, with that bump reminding you that any loss of consciousness counts. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.